Good morning, welcome back Carnivores, Carnivore Confidential, Dougie the Butcher. Listen, we all make mistakes, and last week I made a huge one. I didn't even realize it until I rewatched my video on the brats that I made. And as soon as I rewatched it, my rookie mistake was staring me right in the face. I initially thought that it was their fault, that the seasoning was off. I apologize to PS Seasonings for even thinking that, because it wasn't their fault, it was mine entirely. What I did was, I made a total rookie mistake in my calculations. I thought I had 5.5 kilos of meat. I actually had, that was the price per pound, per kilo. So it was $5.50 per kilo. I mistook that for the total weight. The total weight was actually closer to 3 kilos, which was pretty much half of what I thought it was. And then I went ahead and made my calculations for the spices according to what I thought I had pound-wise. 5.5 or 5.5 kilos works out to roughly 12.5 pounds. That's why I cut the spices from this box in half, because this box makes 25 pounds worth of sausages. Little did I know until I did my taste test that it was so horribly salty. Tasty, but horribly salty. I couldn't figure out what I had done wrong, or what perhaps they had done wrong. I went and again, as I said, I went and rewatched it, and I saw that I not only did I not have 12 pounds of meat, I had about 7 pounds of meat. So I ended up adding twice as much cure and spice to these brats that they that I actually called for. So today is an SOS. It's a kind of a rescue. These are basically unedible. They're so salty. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take all these out of the casings, and I've got some pork trim, leftover pork trim from, you recall my pork leg video? That was destined for sausage anyway, and I weighed it up, and I've got about 7 pounds here. So I'm going to grind this all up. I'm going to do the same process I did last week. I'm going to mix this with this, and then I'm going to recase everything, and we'll do a taste test. Actually, I'm going to do a taste test before I recase them, so that we make sure I've got the spice. Hopefully, this will balance this out. So that's what's on the go for today. I know I hate to admit that I made a mistake, but we all make them. And I thought this is a good learning experience for me and for you, if anybody did the same thing in the future. So come on back for the ride. That's what we're going to do. We're going to grind this up, mix this up, and then stuff everything. Thanks for hanging out, and stay hungry, folks. All my sausage trimming bits from my pork leg video. And I'm just going to make sure they're small enough to go through my grinder. And if not, then they will be trimmed up. I'm going to try and clean this up a little bit. Okay. Aha. See that, folks? Can you hear that? That's the kneecap from the sirloin tip. So make sure that doesn't go through the grinder. Well, it won't go through the grinder, but I wanted to make sure it didn't get stuck in the head of the grinder. Got some good fat here, which is awesome. All this, if you recall, folks, was from pork leg videos that I did. I took that pork leg apart into the 5 separate muscles and made 5 different videos out of all of it. And I kept all the trim for sausage. And I was going to make a different kind of sausage with this stuff, but as it turns out, rather than grinding another whole shoulder to rescue my brats from last week, I'm going to use this instead. And I've got whole chunks here. This was the heel. If you recall, the heel's not good for anything other than grinding, which is going to rescue my sausages, my brats from last week. All these bits are small enough to go through the throat of the grinder. That's all good. Okay, I think we're good to go here. Maybe this piece came off the inside round, and I think that's about it. All right, so we're back. I have just finished grinding for that matter, all of my pork scraps from the leg videos that I told you about. And I just want to pass on a little trick that I thought was ingenious that I saw someone do on a sausage making video. There's always a little bit of waste in here that you can't get out, and by running the machine to try and get it out, you're just creating friction, metal on metal. So that's going to cook it. So what I saw was somebody just said, just add a piece of bread. And this piece of bread's partially frozen, so I'm just going to have to ram it in here. But add a piece of bread to your sausage maker, or your grinder rather, and run that through, and it'll push all the rest of the meat out. Bear with the noise. And there it goes. All right, so I am going to mix all of this with my sausage meat, or my brats that I made last week. And then I'm going to grind them again. And that'll give me a finer consistency, but come on back for that. Now I just got to open up all these casings and throw them in here and mix them up. So I won't bother you with the tediousness of that detail, but come on back when I've got it all done. All right, folks, so I didn't bother you with the tediousness, as I said, of uncasing all of those sausages, the brats from last week. So I did that job. That took a while. And then I mixed them all with, I mixed all the sausages with the fresh pork trim that I ground. And I added about 2 cups of water just to make sure stuff was being well mixed. And then I reground everything together. And I didn't bother you with that either. But I am going to finish up with this little hack that I showed you before of grinding a piece of bread to make sure that we've got all of the usable sausage out of the throat of the machine. And that's what I'm going to do right now. And there we go. All right, so the only thing left to do is really mix this up again. But before I stuff it in the sausage casings, I'm going to fry up a little patty just to make sure we've got our flavors and saltiness on point. So that's what I'm going to do now. Just a little patty. All right, folks, welcome back. Like I said, I reground everything, mixed everything, and now I've done a taste test, or I've done a fried up a little patty here, and we're going to do a taste test and pray that we solved the problem from last week. Again, excuse the chewing noise. That's delicious. Solved problem. All right. It's even got a nice smoky flavor, because remember I smoked the brats. So the next thing to do is stuff this stuff into sausage casings, and you saw all that before. So thanks for coming out, folks. Please like, subscribe, and share my new channel. I need all the help I can get, and I love your support. Stay hungry, and we'll see you next Thursday for another video. Thanks for coming by, and sausage SOS, rescue 101, I guess. Anyway, thanks, folks. See you next Thursday, 6 o'clock.